nomination, the central candidate, central respondent for Borno Central District. However, that on the 6th July 2022, the first respondent via a letter dated the same day notified his political party that second respondent was his withdrawal from the central candidate. That upon receipt of the first respondent letter, the second respondent immediately notified INEC, and the letter was received on the 13th July 2022. That the same letter also notified the first respondent of his intention to conduct a fresh primary election for the replacement of the first respondent following his withdrawal as a central candidate. That it was until 14th July 2022 that the first respondent was nominated as the third respondent associate for the presidential election of 26th February 2023. The fifth respondent notice of withdrawal as a candidate is in evidence as PA2, while the notice of withdrawal and letter of voluntary withdrawal of the first respondent are in evidence as PA3 and PA4. It will appear that the petitioner is the view that the first respondent was still the central candidate of the second respondent as at the 14th of July 2022, when the first respondent was nominated as the vice presidential candidate of the second respondent. However, the respondent contended the issue of alleged double nomination of first respondent has been determined finally by the Supreme Court in People's Democratic Party (PDP) versus ANI, that in the circumstances the said judgment of the Supreme Court constitutes episcopal card and binding on the party. Now, for a judgment to constitute issue established, the condition by earlier statute rulings, so the three elements must be present and coexist for a period of established parliament charter to apply. See the cases of Ito and Ete and others, Oshoboja versus Amida and others, and Alexandra and others versus Lone Star Drilling Company Limited, all citation supply. It is obvious that the judgment sought to be relied on for the plea of testimony is that of the Supreme Court, the highest and final court in this country. There is no doubt that the decision was final, and the issue that was done by the Supreme Court is the same as in the present petition, with whether the fourth respondent breached Section 35 of the Electoral Act, but by allowing himself to be nominated in more than one constituency. The petitioner has however argued that the issue decided by the Supreme Court was merely on the local standing of the PDP to question the nomination of fourth respondent, the candidate of the APC, a different political party. That may well be so, but it is clear from the judgment, that's Exhibit X1, that the Supreme Court pronounced on the substantive issue of double nomination, though Joro JSC, who delivered the lead judgment, declined to exercise the powers of the Supreme Court under Section 22 of the Supreme Court Act to pronounce on the merit of the case. The other laws of the Supreme Court proceeded to do so. It is settled law that a concurrent judgment has equal weight as the lead judgment. It is part of the lead judgment and therefore has the same force and binding effect. The mere fact that the concurrent or contributed judgment contains what is not in the lead judgment will not whittle down binding effect. Thus, in Olu Fairback and others versus Abdulrahim, my Lord Fadi Judge said, the concurrent judgment has equal weight with or as the lead judgment. A concurrent judgment complements, verifies, and adds to the lead judgment when the justice are in certain fact aspects which the writer of the lead judgment did not remember to deal with. Insofar as the concurrent judgment performs same for all the above functions, it has equal force with the lead judgment insofar as the principles of stare decisis are concerned. Now it is apparent that the parties in Exhibit H1, PDP and ANI and other supra are not the same as in the present petition. The earlier decision, though, involved the first, second and fourth respondents. The present petitioner was not party in that case. That is why it was argued by the petitioner here that one cannot operate as to stop it. Getting the issue of double nomination of the first respondent. The respondents have responded that the judgment in PDP and others is the H1, is a judgment on them as opposed to judgment in personal. In law, a judgment in personal is a judgment against persons who are parties or privy to the particular suit proceeding alone. judgment binding on the parties to the action alone. A judgment in rem, on the other hand, is a judgment that determines the status of a person or thing as distinct from the particular interest of a party to the litigation. It is referred to as judgment contra binding on the whole world. It is therefore binding not only on the parties to the dispute but even non-parties. Therefore, once the status of person or thing has been pronounced upon by a court of competent jurisdiction, no person is permitted to assert the contrary of what that court has decided. The Black's Law Dictionary, 11th edition, at page 1008, David Sola was the Bolamwa, Yanati, Chemical Limited, PHS, then Lady Georgia and others as Guntai and others.
It is no doubt that the judgment matter in PPP and INEC others X1 was in respect of the alleged government nomination of the first respondent as the vice president candidate of the second respondent in the 26th February 2023 presidential election. That is the same issue raised in this petition, as grounded the disqualification of the third and fourth respondent in this petition. Pronouncing on the issue in this case, as not the qualified judgment, my Lord Okoro JSC, who presided on the panel of the Supreme Court, gave as follows a court.
There is no doubt that before the respondent was at his state nominated as a candidate representing Borno Central District, but upon being muted, he would pair with the third respondent as vice presidential candidate for second All Progressive Congress, APC, in the 26th February 2023 general election. He would use his candidature for the Senate before taking up the position of vice presidential candidate. Documents in the record attest to this fact. These are APC 1, APC 2, which were made on the 6th or 10th of July 2022. After considering those documents, the Lordship concluded at page 7 of the judgment. It is crystal clear that the two incidents alluded to above before the respondent did the needful by resigning the position of Senate candidate for Borno Central District till 6th July 2022, before being nominated by the third respondent to run alongside him as vice presidential candidate on the court. My Lord Okoro went on to after citing section 31 of the Electoral Act 2010 at page 8 or 6 in the judgment of the court. The above provision of the Electoral Act 2020 was duly complied with by the respondent. My well-considered opinion that as of the 6th of July 2020, having withdrawn nomination, personally served 10 on the second respondent of the withdrawal of nomination of 6th July 2022, first respondent was no longer a candidate for the Borno Central District election, and his subsequent nomination as vice president candidate for the second respondent for the presidential election was not multiple nomination, as there was no longer a nomination for the first respondent since his withdrawal on the 6th of July 2022. I've also cited the relevant issue of leadership against JS. So I have endeavored to quote extensively the dicta of the law of the Supreme Court, PDP and INEC, in order to show that the issue of burden or even multiple nomination of further respondent as the central candidate and vice presidential candidate of second respondent in the 26th February 2022
has been settled to finality. It is a judgment in them, therefore binding on the parties to this petition and in fact the entire world, including this court. Being the judgment of the final court of the land, of this land, being the Supreme Court, no person is permitted to again raise and litigate on it in any other action or proceeding. It is therefore settled and remains settled that this petition, which questions the qualifications and seeks to disqualify the third and fourth respondent from contesting and occupying the seat of president and vice president of Nigeria on ground of double or multiple nomination of the first respondent and vice president candidate for the second respondent.
On ground of double or multiple nomination of the respondent as well as I only wish to add that Section 35 of the Electoral Act is targeted at the candidate and not the political party. That is why it uses the terms candidate and normally allows himself to be nominated by more than one political party, more than one constituency. Thus, to prove that a candidate knowingly allows himself to be so nominated, both the intent and actual act of nomination, that is, the mens rea and actual use of the act prohibited, but proved the stipulation in the section being penal provision. In the instant case, neither the intent nor the fact of the further owner will allow himself to be so nominated established. That's why my motion who we case judgment.
Yes, with S1 held as well as court. By section 31 of the Electoral Act, before the respondent Shetima was obliged to submit a notice of withdrawal in writing to his party, which he did, and then his party is to deliver that notice to the Commission not later than 90 days of the election. In view of the above stated position of the law on this issue and the facts of this case, there exists no animus or display of intention by the first respondent to stand as the nominated candidate of the second respondent for the vice president position and also the senator representing Borno Central District in the general election of 26 February 2023. There cannot be any other interpretation in the circumstances unless there is clear intention to knowingly stand as a candidate for two elected posts, same as uncertain. The JC also contributed as follows. The manifest intention to relinquish the earlier nomination to pave way for the nomination of another person to replace him as the party's central candidate cannot be overlooked or disregarded. To simply isolate the assumed or purported short-lived coexistence of the two nominations for treatment as multiple nominations without regard to the obvious intention of the first respondent not to be the party's candidate in elections in two constituencies is against the legislative intent of Section 35 of the Electoral Act 2022. The sequence of the occurrence of the events is not what determines the existence of multiple nominations. It is the intention, design, or purpose to hold two or more nominations as candidates for election that shows that the person so nominated knowingly did so. The second respondent did not intend that the first respondent should be his candidate for Borno Central Senatorial election and his vice presidential candidate for the presidential election. And the first respondent did not understand or know that he was so nominated. The word knowingly in section 35 of the Electoral Act must be interpreted broadly to include all its literal meanings. Barton's legal service, fourth edition by William C. Barton at page 356, it is defined to include advisedly, deliberated, designedly, intentionally, learnedly, pointedly, purposefully, with knowledge, etc. It is clear to me, therefore, that from the oral and documented evidence adduced by the parties in this petition, the intention and fact of knowingly allowing himself to be nominated more than one constituency as alleged by the petition against the first respondent has not been established. In other words, both the mens rea and actus reus of the Act prohibited by Section 35 of the Electoral Act 2020 were not established. One other aspect alleged by the petitioner on his claim of invalid nomination of the third and fourth respondent is that the second respondent did not comply with Section 33 of the Electoral Act in the nomination of the first respondent as vice president candidate. That after the withdrawal of the fifth respondent, the second respondent should have conducted a fresh primary election within 14 days for the purpose of nominating a new vice presidential candidate. Therefore, a literal interpretation will suffice. It therefore has submitted the name of a candidate pursuant to Section 29 of the Electoral Act. It cannot be allowed to substitute or change that candidate except in the event of death or withdrawal of such candidate. By the proviso therefore, the political party affected is enjoined to conduct a fresh primary election for the purpose of producing a new or fresh candidate to submit to the Electoral Commission. The grounds of the petitioner here is that the fifth respondent withdrew his nomination as vice president candidate of the second respondent, but the second respondent did not conduct another primary election for the purpose of producing a new vice presidential candidate within the 14 days prescribed by Section 30 of the Electoral Act. It should be remembered that by Section 142, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution, a presidential candidate for election to
determined that at the time of the presidential election held on the 25th of February 2023, the second and third respondents were not qualified to contest the election. 2. That it be determined that all the votes recorded for the second respondent in the election are wasted votes owing to the non-qualification/disqualification of the second and third respondents. 3. That it be determined that on the basis of the remaining votes after discontinuance of the votes credited to the second respondent, the first petitioner scored a majority of lawful votes cast in the election and have not less than 25% of the votes cast in the political parties. Third, in the states of the federation, federal capital territory, satisfy the constitutional requirements to declare the winner of the February 2. That it be determined that the second respondent, having failed to score 1/4 of votes cast at the presidential election in the federal capital territory, Abuja, was not entitled to be declared and determined as the winner of the presidential election held on the 25th of February 2020. In alternative to 2 above, 3. An order cancelling the election and compelling the first respondent to conduct a fresh election at which the second, third, and fourth respondents shall not participate. In the alternative to 1, 2, and 3 above, petitioners also prayed in paragraph 4 that it be determined that the second respondent was not duly elected by a majority of those votes cast in the election in the office of President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria held on the 25th of February 2023, and therefore the declaration and return of the second respondent as winner of the presidential election is unlawful, unconstitutional, and not effective. 2. That it be determined that based on the valid votes cast at the presidential election on the 25th of February 2023, first petitioner scored the highest number of votes cast at the election, not less than 1/4 of the votes cast at the election, each of at least 1/3 of the states of the federation, federal capital territory, ought to be declared and returned as winner of the election. 3. An order directing the first respondent to issue certificate of return to the first petitioner as a duly elected president of the federal republic. 4. That it be determined that the certificate of return wrongly issued to the second respondent that the first respondent is null and void of the set aside. In the further alternative to 1, 2, 3, and 4 above, petitioners also sought for finding that the presidential election conducted on the 25th of February 2022 void, lacking in clarity, generic, nebulous, vague, speculative, and gold digging, in contravention of the first sentence of the Electoral Act. In the above applications, all the respondents relied on the provisions of paragraph 4, sub 1, sub D, and sub 2 of the first schedule to the Electoral Act, and variously argued that the paragraphs of which they have listed are liable to be struck out for being generic, imprecise, and nebulous. So arguing they relied on several cases which are cited. By contrast, the petitioners have submitted that the respondents' objection in the listed paragraphs of the petition are not vague, nebulous, because the petition, the argument that the petition are vague, paragraphs of the petition are vague and nebulous is defeated because the petitioners have indicated in the petition that they shall be relying on spreadsheets and forensics/expert evidence about facts. Petitioners have particularly argued that in paragraphs 61, 65, 67, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 83, and 100 of the petition, they have pleaded the said spreadsheets and forensic reports by incorporation or reference, and that this means that the said documents have not only been incorporated but have been sufficiently pleaded. On this point, the petitioners cited several cases which I didn't go to see. Petitioners further argued that the facts in Bengori and Ahmed and Ipiazu and Noti, Ogu and Ikwerman, Ojuku and Eradua, PDP and INEC and others in Sudan, Bugwe, and all other cases cited by the respondents are not the same with the facts of this petition. Those documents were never pleaded by reference or incorporation in those cases. Additionally, petitioners have relied on paragraph 17(2), first schedule to the Electoral Act 2022, and argued that the respondents have joint issues with the petitioners of those paragraphs. Having failed to seek for further particulars, they must be taken to have understood the same paragraph. They relied on some issues. Now, resolution. Carefully consider the submissions of the parties and the judicial authorities cited. It is right that adversarial civil litigation is basically fought on pleadings. It is the foundation of the parties' respective cases. The general principle of law is that such pleadings must sufficiently and comprehensively set out material facts so as to ascertain with certainty and clarity the matters or issues in dispute between the parties. This is because the purpose of pleadings is to give adequate notice to the adversary of the cases to it and to avoid affording the opportunity to properly respond to such cases. Its aim is to bring to the knowledge of the opposite side and the court all the essential facts. Therefore, safeguard against elements since Tinubu was getting the pain, although others another was special citation. The requirements of pleadings in election petitions are provided in paragraph 4 of the first schedule to the Electoral Act 2025. Specifically, paragraph 4 sub 1 sub T mandates that, and I quote, an election petition shall state clearly the facts of the election petition and the ground or grounds on which the petition is based and the beliefs held by the petition, unquote. Subparagraph 2 of the same paragraph further provides that, and I quote, the election petition shall be divided into paragraphs, each of which shall be confined to a distinct issue or major facts of the election petition, and every paragraph shall be numbered consecutively. In addition to the provisions of paragraph 4 of the first schedule to the Electoral Act, paragraph 54 of the same schedule to the Act has made applicable to election petitions the rules of procedure in the Federal High Court of 2019, subject to such modifications as would bring, say, in conformity with the provisions of the Act. By Order 13, Rule 4 of the Federal High Court Civil Procedure Rules 2019, every party to the election petition shall ensure that governments in their pleadings, and I quote, contained in a summary form the material facts on which the party pleading relies for its claim or defense, as the case may be, but not the evidence by which they are to be proved, and shall, when necessary, be divided into paragraphs and numbered. And I quote again, be alleged positively, precisely, and distinctly. Contained in the first schedule to the Electoral Act 2022, as well as the Federal High Court Rules 2019, state the mandatory requirements of pleadings in election petitions. The requirements for clarity and precision of fact, where by paragraph 4 of the first schedule to the Electoral Act, means that governments must not be vague, ambiguous, or unclear, leaving room for speculation or conjecture, while the requirements of distinctiveness means that each government must contain clearly understandable allegation, and there should be no confusion as to the linkages between facts contained in government's information and ascertaining the allegations being made. In particular, paragraph 4 sub 1 sub T related to the facts of the grounds on which it is based and the release told by the petitioner have been severally considered and interpreted by the appellate court. In Belgorian Ahmed Supra, the complaint against the government in the petition was that they were unspecific, generic, speculative, vague, unreferable, omnibus, and general in terms. In that case, the apex court specifically held as follows, and I quote, pleadings in an action are the written statements of the parties wherein they set forth a summary of the material facts on which each relied in proof of his claim or his defense, as the case may be, and by means of which the real matters in controversy between the parties and to be adjudicated upon are clearly identified. Although only material facts are required to be pleaded and in a summary form, they must nevertheless be sufficiently specific and comprehensive to elicit the necessary answers from the opponent. They must contain such details as to eliminate any element of surprise to the opposing party. In this case, while the dispute involves the election in as many as 895 polling units, the pleading in the petition, which alleged electoral malpractice, non-compliance, and or offences in, quote, some polling units, many polling units, most polling units, or several polling units, cannot be said to have met the requirements of pleadings as stipulated in paragraph 4 sub 1 sub T of the first schedule to the Electoral Act and Order 13 in 4 sub 1, 5, 6, and sub 1 of the Federal High Court Civil Procedure Rules, unquote. Indeed, the PDP and INEC the Apex Court was categorical when it held those, and I quote, but whether the affected paragraphs were rightly struck out, I have read the affected paragraphs and found that they relate to allegations of non-voting, several polling units, disruption of election, non-conclusion of election, from printing of ballot papers, falsification of election results, widespread disruption, irregularities and practices, without providing particulars or the polling units where the alleged malpractices. The lower court was therefore right when it held as follows. Above the paragraphs above, in my view, are too generic, vague, lacking in any particulars, and they are not tied specifically to any particular polling unit or any particular number of people who are alleged to be disenfranchised. The fact that it can find further particulars or deny the reply government's in the pleading must not be general, must be specific as in facts. It is settled law that a petitioner's obligation to plead particulars of fraud or falsification without which the allegation is announced. I have nothing to add to this statement of law as advanced above, and I quote it, unquote. Indeed, on the provision of paragraph 17 sub 1 of the first schedule to the Electoral Act relating to further particulars, the Apex Court held in PDP versus INEC that, and I quote, an application for an order for further particulars is merely a shield in the hand of the party who so desires, and not a sword to be used by a party whose pleading is grossly inadequate, insufficient, and devoid of necessary particulars as appellants which wasn't established, unquote. A sober consideration of the decision of the Supreme Court in relation to the requirements of pleadings, paragraph 4 sub 1 sub D of the first schedule to the Electoral Act 2022. One hand, and the decisions of the Supreme Court on the provision of paragraph 17 sub 1 and sub 2 of the first schedule to the Electoral Act 2022 relating to further particulars on the other hand, shows that whilst in cases such as Abubakar vs. Karadwa and Ompugati vs. Sule, the Supreme Court had held that a respondent who complains of vagueness of affirmance in should avail himself of the provision of paragraph 17 sub 1 of the first schedule to the Electoral Act to seek for further particulars on the direction of the Tribunal Court. The decisions of the Apex Court, especially in PDP, INEC, and Gregorian Army, have specifically held that where affirmance indications are grossly imprecise and generic, such affirmance will be incompetent, liable to be discovered. So also in this legal. It is therefore clear that the state of the law, as could be deduced from the various decisions of the Apex Court, is that the provision for further particulars, as stated in paragraph 17.1, first schedule to the Electoral Act 2022, will only come into play where the petition itself contains material or necessary particulars. In other words, paragraph 17 sub 1 of the first schedule to the Electoral Act 2022 does not bar a respondent from applying under paragraph 4 sub 7 the first schedule to strike out which are grossly inadequate, insufficient, devoid of material or necessary particulars. This is because the operational words in paragraph 17 sub 1 is further particulars, and this means there must be some material particulars already pleaded with the petition before further particulars can be sought by the respondent. As borne from the Apex Court decision in Belgoria, Ahmed, PDP, INEC, and Ibiazo and Moti, the law is clearly settled by specifying the particulars of polling units or places where irregularities are alleged to have occurred and material particulars in an election petition. An election petition which alleged irregularities are practiced but failed to specify the polling units or places where the irregularities or practices occur, I bereft of material particulars as such arguments are incompetent and liable. As specifically stated in PDP and INEC, petitioner who has failed to state such material particulars cannot invoke a provision related to further particulars as a sword against a respondent that should have incompetence. With respect to this misconceived argument of the senior counsel for petitioners to state that the latter decision of the Apex Court in Ompugadu and Sule Supra, which relates to further particulars under paragraph 17.1 of the first schedule, has departed the specific decisions of the Apex Court in Belgoria Army, PDP, INEC, and Ibiazo and several others. The mandatory requirements for stating material facts as provided in paragraph 4.1, first unit of the Electoral Act. Contrary to the contention of petitioners, the decision of the Supreme Court in Ombugadu Sule Supra has merely reiterated the legal position related to further particulars as provided in paragraph 72(1), first unit of the Electoral Act. It has not departed from the above specific decisions of the Apex Court of the materiality and of specifying in an election petition polling units or places where irregularities and malpractices are alleged to have occurred. Now, a look at arguments in the petitioner's petition shows that the petitioners have only alleged various irregularities and malpractices, but failed to specify the particular polling units or specific places where the alleged irregularities and malpractices have occurred. For instance, paragraph 9 of the petition, where the petitioners avert that, and I quote, in appropriate cases, these agents raise complaints about anomalies where they occurred and reported such complaints to designated officers of the second respondent. Results in the same polling units. Paragraph 66 and 67. The respondent embarked on, and I quote, massive misrepresentation and manipulation by uploading fictitious results in polling units where no election, unquote. They did not specify the polling units where they alleged there were no elections. Incorrect results that were uploaded and which are the correct results. Again, in paragraph 6871, where the petitioners allege that the scores obtained by them were, and I quote, unlawfully reduced and added by the first respondent to the scores of the second respondent, unquote. They failed to state their scores that were reduced and added to that of the second respondent by the first respondent, and the figures that shows that the first petitioners won the election. In paragraph 72, 73, 76 to 78, where the petitioners allege overvoting, they merely stated that they will, and I quote, rely on the forensic reports of the election materials showing that the votes cast in the polling units State, Oyo State, Ondo State, Taraba State, Osun State, Kano State, Yobe, and Niger State exceeded the number of votes accredited on the beavers in those states, in those polling units. It supposes that the petitioner has the first duty to state clearly in his petition the particulars of such votes, in respect of which he claims to have scored the highest number of valid votes, and thus entitled to be returned as well. This also presupposes that it is only after he has supplied the particulars of the votes in support of his claim that he scored the highest number of valid votes that the respondent will then have a duty to object to any particular of the particulars of such votes supplied by the petitioner in order to show that the petitioner is not entitled to this. With regard to the petitioner's contention that they have incorporated into the petition by reference the spreadsheets and forensic analysis report containing details polling units where they allege that irregularities and malpractices occurred. It is right that for a document to be properly incorporated as part of the pleadings by reference, the document must not only be referred to the pleadings by reference but served along with the pleadings of the adverse party. In considering a similar scenario, this court by Ayola yesterday, as it was held in Nigeria, investment limited as follows in my code. Before I part in this appeal, it is pertinent to advert to one hidden question raised in this regard to the participants of the party believing that he would rely on certain unspecified documents at the trial. The plaintiff contended that such arguments made the contents of such document part of the pleading. In this case, the plaintiff in paragraph 30 of the statement of claim pleaded thus: the plaintiff at the trial will rely on all letters and documents between the parties pertaining to this. Although the principle is established that if an agreement in writing is referred to in the pleading, it becomes part of the pleading and is open to the court to give the agreement its true legal effect, irrespective of the term used in the pleading to indicate such effect. That proposition of law should not be used to cover such argument as shown above, which besides a report such as P22 in this case, prepared by witness for the plaintiff and tendered at the trial by the witness, cannot be described as documents between the parties pertaining to the suit. At the appropriate time, when the occasion arises, the true ambit of proposition of law in such case, such as Bank Kenneth versus Baytime Limited, ought to be defined, unquote. In the instant case, the spreadsheet and forensic report, which were documents prepared by the petitioner's witnesses, were not served along with the petition on the respondent. Were only listed as documents to be prepared on the trial. Another oblivious of the petitioner's argument in relation to paragraph 4 sub-5 sub-c first alludes to the Electoral Act 2022, which provides that election petition shall be accompanied by, quote, copies or list of every document to rely on at the hearing of the petition, quote. This undoubtedly only relates to front-loading of documents to be relied upon by the petitioner as is evidence during the trial. Contrary to the petitioner's argument, it does not cover incorporation of documents into pleadings by reference. It is also noteworthy that the spreadsheets and forensic reports which the petitioners claim to be incorporated into the petition by reference are actually documents prepared by the petitioner's witnesses. In other words, the spreadsheets and forensic reports are not documents which are outside the control of the petitioners and which they have gained by the subpoena. Being the petitioner's own documents, they ought to have served those documents along with petition on the respondents, so as to enable the respondent to counter say by engaging their own experts to appropriately respond to say images. That indeed is the essence of pleadings, so as to avoid taking the other party. Petitioners have also tried to argue that the respondents having joint issues on the general allegations contained in the petition, they are to have understood simply. With respect, this is also not a tenable argument in view of the grossly generic allegations made. Faced with a similar scenario, this court, just as in there was, now JC, held with Diaga and another was Omega, as follows, and I quote. The argument of appellant's counsel that the respondents did not adequately traverse the petition is unfounded. The petition itself contained general complaints. There was no effort in point in the pleadings, the various places where corrupt practices, non-voting, use of violence, forgery, rigging in polling units, massive thumbprint of ballot papers, fictitious entry of election results took place. Therefore, there was a general corresponding reply denying the allegations in general terms from the respondents. If the petitioners did not give particulars, how could the respondents traverse non-existent particulars? The arguments in the appellant's pleadings should have contained details of the allegations and complaints to which the respondent could reply in detail in their own pleadings. Appellants expected the respondents to reply to the various specific allegations contained in the witness statements filed along with the petition. That is not the correct answer. Those specific allegations by pleadings. Pleadings must show the facts disputed, while the witnesses will give evidence of these facts. In election petitions, it has been held that there is a need for particulars where adverse parties. It is not the function of particulars to take place of necessary affirmative evidence. Indeed, in the presidential election like the one being challenged in this petition, where it was held in 176,846 polling units, 8,809 wards, 774 local government areas, 96 states, and the federal capital territory, it is unimaginable that governments in the petition which merely allege irregularities and or malpractice without specifying the particular polling units or particular collation centers where irregularities or malpractices have taken place will be regarded as proper, merely because the respondent has not requested for further particulars. More so, when an election petition is by nature a declaratory action, in which the petitioner succeeds only on the strength of his own case and not on the weakness of that of his Busari as a legal, Wetola as a delegate, and Amazon as a Tinubu citation. It is in this respect that the petitioner has an obligation to set up a clear, unambiguous, precise, and positive case in pleadings, since pleadings is the foundation of the party's case, and it is to the pleadings that the parties to litigation as well as the court are all bound to. See Anna and others. It is in the light of all the foregoing that I find and hold that the motions of the respondents listed above succeed. In consequence, paragraphs 9, 60, 61, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 76, 77, 78, 83, and 99, which are failed to state the specific polling units, collation centers, or the specific place where the irregularities and malpractices are alleged to have occurred, or the figures of votes which are being claimed, are grossly vague, imprecise, nebulous, and bereft of material particulars, and have thus failed to meet the requirements of paragraph 4, sub 1, sub T of the Electoral Act 2022. In accordance with paragraph 4, sub 7 of the said schedule, the said paragraphs are consequently hereby stated. On the first respondent's prayer, strike out paragraphs 57 and 58 of the petition for consistent with paragraph 65, 67, 70, and 71 of the petition. The essential contention of the first respondent is that while paragraph 57 and 58, while in paragraph 57 and 58 petitioners have alleged that the first respondent failed to comply with the order of inspection granted by the court, petitioners have in paragraph 65, 67, 70, and 71 stated that they will rely on the report of the inspection. Additionally, the first respondent also argued that the first petitioners have alleged the election was marred by corrupt practices and was not conducted in sufficient compliance with the Electoral Act 2022. They have also alleged that they have scored majority of those votes cast and should be declared the winner. Relying on some cases which are produced here, the first respondent has to strike out the paragraphs as well as prayers 1 to 4 on the one hand, and prayers 5, sub 1, and sub 2 on the other hand for being inconsistent. Conversely, the petitioner contend that the law allows them to plead conflicting facts insofar as they have claimed alternative relief. They refer to the alternative relief on pages 95. The non-aspirant for the presidential election only resigned his membership of 2022 to join the second petitioner, the 1999 Constitution. It is not within the rights of the second and third respondents and the fourth respondent question the first so required to join any other candidate who lost the election like himself. It is in furtherance that paragraph 50 of the first schedule of the Electoral Act 2022 requires an election tribunal to consolidate two or more petitions which are presented in relation to the same election or return. As rightly submitted by the petitioners, the case of JDM Island cited by the first respondent is clearly not applicable to this case, since the decision in that case is that my Malabuni was a necessary party forced by the provisions of Section 183 of the 1999 Constitution would have seized the governor of Yobe State if the case made out that it would not comply with the governor of Yobe State, acting chairman of the All Progressive Congress in 2016. In this case, Abubakar Atiku, the People's Democratic Party, who were only runners-up in the presidential elections, are not necessary parties, as they are not statutory respondents to this petition, and the petition have no obligation to join the election. Again, inquiry and Obasanjo Supra, relied upon by the respondents, the Supreme Court reconfirmed its decision in inquiry and Yusuf Supra that there is no obligation on the petitioner to make a candidate who lost an election like himself the respondent to his petition. Also, as in this case, Abubakar Atiku and the People's Democratic Party have filed a separate petition on the CAPEC 05-2023, which, as mentioned in the earlier part of the video, this court has consolidated the petition line paragraph. First schedule to the Electoral Act. This ground of objection to the competence of the petition is unmeritorious. On the arguments over the competence of the relief in this petition, it is my view that the relief which the court can grant an election petition as statutory, as provided in section 136 for 1, sub 2, sub 3 of the Electoral Act 2022. Therefore, the determination of whether the relief sought by the petitioner is grantable and only be made after trial. Challenge the competence of the petitioners applies. The third category of the applications of the respondents seek to strike out the petitioner's replies or some paragraphs of the replies. These are first respondent's motion filed on the 9th of May 2023 seeking 1. Order striking out the petitioner's reply, the first respondent's reply for being incompetent. 2. In the alternative, order striking out paragraphs 15, 16 Roman 1 to 7, 17 to 20, 22, 24, 25, 27 to 32, 34, 36, 37, 38, 40, and 41 petitioners reply for offending the provisions of the first schedule to the Electoral Act. Second and third respondents' motion filed on the 13th of May 2023, seeking for order striking out petitioner's reply of 21st April 2023 for being incompetent. 2. In the alternative, order striking out paragraphs 8 to 17, 19 to 32, 34 to 42, petitioner's reply to receive facts. Fourth respondent's motion filed on the 8th of May 2023 prays for 1. Order striking out paragraphs 15 to 32 of the petitioner's reply. The fourth respondent's reply, as well as the witness statement of the failure to deny the fourth respondent's allegation. 2. Order striking out paragraphs 5 Roman 1 to 9, 15 Roman 1 to 7, 16 Roman 1 to 7, 17 Roman 1 to 7, 18 Roman 1 A to H, 18 Roman 2 A to E, 18 Roman 3, 5 and 7, A to B, A and B, Roman 8 A and B, Roman 9, Roman 11, 20 to 25, A to D, 26 Roman 1 and 2, 27 to 31 of the petitioner's reply to the fourth respondent's reply for raising the issue. All the respondents challenge the competence of the petitioner's reply, their respective replies, or in the alternative paragraph thereof, which they have variously listed. Their essential contention is that the replies or in the alternative paragraph thereof have either raised or introduced new facts aimed at substantially altering the grounds and the list of the petition, or a mere repetition or rehash of the facts contained in the petition, contrary to the provisions of 16, paragraph 16, sub 1A and B of the first unit of the electoral act. The respondents replied to several petition authorities, which are reproduced. In response, the petitioners have argued that they have merely reacted to the fresh/new issues raised in the replies of the respondents, which attempted to justify the grounds of non-qualification of the second and third respondents, as well as the non-compliance by the first respondent with the electoral activity. The relied on Silva INEC, PDP versus Ezomuka, citation on the High Court to discountenance the objection to the respondent on both the petitioners. Now, paragraph 16, sub 1A of the first unit of the Electoral Act 2022 provides as follows, and I quote: if a person in his reply to the election petition raises new issues or facts in defense of his case, which the petition has not dealt with, the petitioner shall be entitled to file in the registry within 5 days from the receipt of the respondent's reply. The petitioner's reply and answer the new issues of fact. So, however, that A, petitioner shall not at this stage be entitled to bring in new facts, grounds or prayers tending to amend or add to the contents of the petition filed by a court. By the import of paragraph 16 sub 1A of the first unit, petitioner may in filing a reply respond to allegations of new facts raised in the respondent's reply to the petition, provided it does not in so doing amend or add. It is instructive to observe that the words used in paragraph 16 1A are, quote, new facts, grounds or prayers tending to amend or add to the contents of it, unquote. The word new suggests something which is not there, while the word amend signifies modification. Add, on the other hand, means to increase. What the provision envisages, therefore, is that the reply of the petitioner must strictly find the new facts raised in the respondent's reply and must not go over that attempt to make or add to it. See all progressive Congress as People's Democratic Party, guided Mamako, and they versus Awodu Yilemi, and Ikoro versus Ufumaso citations on the record. Indeed, in succinctly explaining the new issue which should attract the reply, the Supreme Court had held Eje Simba as Olufuniji as follows, and I quote: a new issue to attract a reply must not be really new in the sense of being brand and fresh. The issue must be really new to the statement of claim, in that it was not existing then and was therefore brought into existence or introduced for the first time in the statement of defense violence. The new issue, both in both its contents and materiality, must be further and additional to the statement of claim. Thus, the mere fact that the defendant states his own side of the case does not necessarily make it new, particularly when the plaintiff told a contrary story in the statement of claim. In such a situation, the case stated by the defendant amounts to joining issue with the plaintiff, and that does not bear the name of a new issue law. Paragraph 16. In paragraph 16(1)(a) of the first of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of the 1990. This paragraph of agents as well states and amendments. Paragraph 17, second part of 18, paragraph in contravention of paragraph 16 sub 1 of the first schedule to the electoral.
Both the petitions are consolidated. In bringing this petition, the petitioners who are contributions of the respondents, the court ordered the respondents,
certain witnesses who gave evidence as PW had their witness statements on off file and
the petition that commenced. The respondents objected to the competence of the subpoena witnesses, and most of those witnesses whom the petitioners were not noted along with the petition, but were only filed during trial, contrary to paragraph 4 of 5B of the schedule to the Electoral Act. Section 285(5) of the 1999 Constitution was amended, which limits the time for presenting the election petition provides as follows. An election petition shall be filed within 21 days after the date of declaration of the result of the election. In the same vein, Section 132 sub 7 of the Electoral Act provides as follows. An election petition
shall be filed within 21 days after the date of the declaration of the result of the election. Paragraph 4 of the first schedule to the Electoral Act stipulates the content of an election petition which shall be filed. In particular, paragraph 4.5 of the state schedule is as follows. The election petition shall be accompanied by A list of the witnesses that the petitioner intends to put to the petition, B, written statements on oath of the witnesses, and C, copies or list of every document relied on at the time of the petition. But subparagraph 6 of that paragraph, the petition would fail to comply with the above requirements shall not be accepted for filing by the state. Paragraph 14 sub 2 of the same first schedule of the Electoral Act then provides as follows. After the
expiration of the time limited by A, Section 132 sub 7 of this Act for presenting of the election petition, no amendment shall be made. 1. Introducing any of the requirements of paragraph 4.1 contained in the original election petition file, or 2. Effecting substantial alteration of the ground for prayer in the election petition, or 3. Except anything which may be done under subparagraph 2A Roman 2, affecting a substantial alteration of or addition to statements of facts relied on to support the ground for or sustain the fact prayer in the election petition. And sub B, paragraph 12, for following the
no amendment shall be made. 1. Alleging that the claim of the seat or office by the petitioner is correct or false. 2. Which may be done under the provisions of paragraph 2A Roman 2, affecting any
substantial
Kuru, and others, PDP and several others listed here. In Oke and Mimiko, the upper apex court part of the case held as follows. Paragraph 4, 1 and 5 of the first schedule to the Electoral Act, the composite analysis of an election petition has been dealt up as spelled out, and also a list of materials which must be accompanied.
The use of the word shall in the subsections is very instructive, mandatory, conclusive. In other words, the provisions do not allow for additions, and hence the procedure adopted by the appellants in seeking for an extension of time is nothing other than
surreptitious attempt to amend it. This is obvious from the nature and substance of the application, especially where one
the ground 6 in facts which are allegedly not available and which were not allegedly not available at the time of filing the petition, but only change
their position after the statutory term limit allowed for the presentation of the election petition. Expressly, there is no provision in the legislation which provides for extension of time. What is more, video paragraph 14.2 of the first schedule to the Electoral Act.
the appellant by section 134 of 1 of the Electoral Act have been totally foreclosed from any amendment, which was in fact the hidden agenda of voting application. The same is true that even the devil does not know the man's intention. It can only be inferred from the act executing that which is complete in the act.
The use of the word shall in paragraph 14 sub 3A of the first schedule of the Electoral Act is mandatory to complete bar any form of amendment to file does not allow for external whatsoever. Further still, 855 of the Constitution, Section 134.
Whose witness statements on oath were filed outside the time limited for are competent to testify because that they are supreme witnesses who do not work on it. Last one was away were decided under the Electoral Act
of the 19th Constitution of Federal Nigeria 1999, which mandates that an election petition shall be decided within 180 days.
Thus, whilst this court in commitment and detail and last one was away appear to have adopted a flexible approach, the apex court had taken a strict approach in its latter decision for and Mimico. Indeed, in
subsequent following the apex court's decision in Oke and Mimico, this court, by arguing JC as he then was, now JC, highlighted this strict
law Vincent at paragraph 46 to 48, paragraph 88, why he held as follows at court. I think that this court in committed adopted different approaches in addressing the issue of whether the tribunal or court can allow a witness deposition or other document not filed along with the petition or not filed within the time allowed for petition to be filed.
Committee's case did not strictly enforce the time limits prescribed in Section 141 of the Electoral Act 2006. The provision in the first schedule thereto prohibited.
Paragraph 1 sub 1 of the Election Tribunal and Post Practice Directions of 2006 on the content and form of the petition held that the purpose of the draft direction is
applicable. This elastic application of the electoral laws by this court in that case is not in line with the current judicial approach of strict enforcement of
electoral laws. Post Practice Directions as overriding the rules of court election court cases. In Mimico,
and giving them supremacy over rules of court in election cases. The Supreme Court has consistently, in a long line of cases, insisted on this strict and inelastic approach.
The law has laid out schema juris in K and Mimico is that a witness deposition that is not filed along with the petition within the 21 days allowed for filing the petition cannot be filed in the proceedings. It held thus, if there was an evidence which was fundamental to the determination of the petition, that evidence ought to have been placed willingly before the tribunal.
Within the time limits specified by the Electoral Act or any other act, that evidence
to be regarded as the spinal cord of the petition, even if it has been withheld by any person. There are several ways to go about placing them before the tribunal. The Evidence Act is very clear on this. The petitioners ought to have restored that procedure.
the firm position of the Supreme Court, as stated in Okia Mimico and followed by this court in Toba and Vincent Supra, is that
by the combined provisions of Section 855 of the 1999 Constitution, Section 137, Section 7 of the Electoral Act, and paragraph 4, 5, and 6 of and 6 and 14.2 of the first schedule of the Act, every written statement on oath of the witness which a party intends to hold must be filed along with the petition within the time limited by Section 208.55 of the
Federal Law of Nigeria as amended, and Section 132 subsection 7 of the Electoral Act 2020.
Once the time limited for filing of the petition has elapsed, the contents of the petition cannot be added to or amended in any manner or under any guise. Any written statement of the witness filed outside that 21 days limitation will amount to a surreptitious amendment of the petition and is breach of paragraph 14, first schedule to the Electoral Act 2022. This is irrespective of whether the witness
to be called are ordinary or expert witnesses and whether they are willing or skilled witnesses. Since then, this has been the consistent position of the law followed by this court.
Indeed, in Okuru versus Obeka, this court spent this position by our land brother Bolaji just stated that as court. From the records, PW3 and PW4 was summoned by subpoena issued by the tribunal and presented as expert witnesses. The question is whether this would have more entitled the appellant to file their statements of both that whether an expert witness or not, the witness remains the witness. Though the proviso under 3 sub-1 of the Federal High Court Rule 2009 made applicable to an electoral election petition by paragraph 6 of the Electoral Act provides that the statements on oath of witnesses requiring subpoena from the court need not be filed at the commence of the suit. 2. The witnesses who require subpoena or summons shall, at the instance of the staff received from 1A before the filing of the statement start witness. The application of that rule is with regard to and was subject to the provisions of the Electoral Act, not the express provisions of this Act. The practice and procedure of the tribunal or the court in relation to an election petition can be as nearly as possible similar to the practice
of the Federal High Court. In the exercise of the civil jurisdiction and the civil procedure rules shall apply with such modifications as may be necessary to render them applicable, having regard to the and the respondent while respect to the plaintiff and the defendant of an ordinary action. The provisions of the Electoral Act being substantive law shall
which is contrary to this provision, the subsidiary legislature must conform to the principal law, the NMPC Afafa or Limited. The proviso order 3 2009 cannot override
or whittle down the absolute and mandated provisions imposed by 85 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as 1999 as amended, which stipulates that an election petition shall be filed within 21 days after the date of the declaration of the result of the election, and paragraphs 4, sub 1, 5, and 14, 1 and 2, the first schedule of the Electoral Act, which stipulates the content of the petition. It is therefore clear that in law, the provisions of Order 3 to 3.1 of the Federal High Court Civil Procedure 2009 cannot provide a platform for filing and losing this statement on both
for presentation of petitions, and which time cannot be extended for any reason under any guise. The focus of our decision in Okpa and Vincent Supra was the injustice in allowing a piece of evidence not covered by
were presented to the court when opposing parties would have no opportunity to act. My humble view that the position of the law as can be gleaned from
which I read, wrote the brief judgment, therein are stated as follows.
petition, if you side with the competent file for this petition, to engage in dealt with SAM, but the lead counsel to the second respondent will allow me and another versus Ali and others.
Statement on both of the same witness was filed on 8/7/2009. In this case, application for
the subpoena were in the request party case. First television, who tendered exhibits PPH 3 and PPH 4, 2 flash drives.
National Planning Commissioner